This is Hashtag History, episode 65. I'm Rachel.
And I'm Leah.
And I hope you brought your bathing suit and your sunscreen today because we are headed to the beach.
Speaking of bathing suits and beaches, I still have the tan line from literally a year ago.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I am.
So last year
it's faded, but oh my God.
Last year we went to the beach.
It was May.
Yeah, I was going to say, yeah, I feel like that. It was like April, May. It was still early quarantine. Mm-hmm. It was one of the first things we actually did, like outside in the world.
Yeah.
But obviously being at the beach was, a really safe, socially distanced event.
I wore leggings because we went to the Bay Area, which is known for more breezy type of weather. So it's not like your Southern California beaches, right? So we're all wearing leggings and sweaters and stuff.
Yeah, I had like jeans and a scarf and everything on.
But I pulled up the leggings because it was, I was getting a little warm. Yeah. And we were on the beach. I didn't want my leggings to get sandy.
Yeah.
Did not put sunscreen on. We were there for maybe we were physically on the beach for like an hour and a half.
That sounds
2 hours.
About right. Yeah.
And all of a sudden on the way home, we stop at a restaurant to eat. And I'm like, my feet hurt. And our friend Jasmine was like, oh, my feet hurt too. And I was like, yeah, I think I got a little sunburn too. Check in a month later, and I still have this straight across my shin,
perfectly straight line,
tan line, and I remember even a month later, you were like, "Are you serious?"
That it was still there.
It's still there. Yeah.
Here we are a year later.
Like 11 months.
Do you think it? I mean,
I can try.
What's the plan? Are we going back to the beach this year, and you're wearing shorts?
Well, yeah, because I need to try to tan everything evenly. And I might actually put some sunscreen on the bottom half
section.
That's what I did last year.
I remember.
I would put sunscreen just on the bottom half of my shins. But anyway, sorry, tangent.
Tangent.
Oh.
Okay, well, this week we are discussing the 1916 shark attacks. These were a series of attacks over the course of 2 weeks in the summer of 1916 in New Jersey, which resulted in the deaths of 4 people and another person injured. This series of shark attacks is what really initiated American fear of sharks and the misconstrued belief that they are these evil man-eaters. Mm-hmm. And although the writer denies it, many believe that it was these tragic incidents in 1916 that would inspire Peter Benchley to publish a book in 1974 that would turn into this, super small, little known Steven Spielberg movie that I doubt anyone's ever heard of. It's called Jaws.
It sounds vaguely familiar.
It's about a shark. Okay, she's not following. Now. That was good.
Okay.
Now, before we try out our cocktail, there is something I want to say about this week's episode that probably goes without saying, but here's a blanket warning over the whole episode as it contains some very bloody, very gruesome content. Mm-hmm. We are obviously talking about some pretty graphic shark attacks here, so there's your warning about all the upcoming blood and gore. And then there are also a few mentions of animal abuse as well. Oh. Because people are the worst. Having said all of that, and before we can sink our teeth into this episode, let's have a drink.
Yes.
I'm Rachel.
And I'm Leah.
And this is Hashtag History,
the podcast for both history nerds and history haters alike,
where we dive into history's greatest stories of controversy, conspiracy, and corruption.
Okay. Buckle up.
Yeah.
This week, I decided to get creative.
Love it. These are some of my favorites.
You, or actually, I guess, our friend, had made a suggestion to possibly make a drink look like a shark attack.
Yes.
Do you want to go into that story a little bit?
So our friend Emily from Whining About Herstory had suggested this topic in the first place. So thank you, Emily, for suggesting this topic. Mm-hmm. And then she had said our cocktail needed to be something blue with maybe like a red shot or something that maybe looked like blood was seeping through the drink.
Which is exactly what we did.
Oh, God. Loving it.
The shark bait ooh-ha-ha cocktail.
That's great.
It's either a blended or I just did shaved ice, or what is it called? Crushed ice. Cocktail of my own making and creation. It contains a shot of rum, some blue curacao, and then lemonade. So that makes the base of the cocktail, right?
Very bluey, oceany.
Yeah. And then floated on top, we have a little tiny bit of raspberry liqueur, which represents le blood.
Le blood. And as it was seeping down into the drink, it definitely looked like blood.
Yeah.
In a body of water.
For sure. I'm excited to share that picture.
Yeah, I can't wait to share the picture.
If you didn't get the name reference of this cocktail because you're either too young or too lame, it's from the classic Pixar film, Finding Nemo.
And actually, speaking of Finding Nemo, I was just watching a documentary last night about this guy that's like trying to save like marine life. Mm-hmm. And he's out on the ocean, on the beach. He's like picking up, trash and stuff. Mm-hmm. And he was like, I even found Nemo. And there literally was like an inflated little Nemo toy that someone had left on the beach. Like, you know what I mean? Like a little inflated Nemo toy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got you.
I mean, that was kind of funny. He's like, I even found Nemo. But also like, hi,
the ocean,
marine life could die because of that.
Yeah. So anyways, that's it. No, because I made it up, there's no history or anything. I just wanted it to look like a shark attack.
And it did.
And it did.
And it did. All right.
Cheers.
Cheersies.
Yep. Oh. Sorry.
No apologies. Is it the raspberry?
I think it's the mix of the blue curacao with the raspberry that's not good.
No, I wouldn't say it's not good. It tastes like a Jolly Rancher, but it tastes like the flavor of Jolly Rancher that I don't love.
The grape one?
The grape one. That's actually, isn't that exactly what it tastes like? The grape Jolly Rancher.
Yeah.
So for anyone that likes the grape Jolly Ranchers, literally remake this drink and it's a grape Jolly Rancher.
It's very sweet too. And I, like, maybe it's missing a little more of the tart, like lemony. Maybe it needs a little bit of that.
I don't hate it. What it is it's a candy that I like, but it's my least favorite of the candies.
Got it.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
That's what it tastes like.
Okay. Rating. 5.
5.
Yeah.
5.
So,
I mean,
worth it still for that picture. That picture, though.
Worth it for the picture, and obviously we will still finish it.
Really?
Oh.
Yeah, no, I will.
I will still finish it.
I wouldn't recommend.
No, but again, for the picture, worth it.
Worth it. 100%.
Worth it.
Yeah.
Okay. So we're going to back it up a bit and talk about human discovery and knowledge of sharks in the first place.
Back it up, peep the shoe. move it forward, move it over, peep the shoe.
I love her so
and
much.
10 out of 10.
References to sharks date all the way back to Greek legends, with the very first drawing of a shark attacking a human found on a vase that dates back to 725 BC. In Fijian legend, there is a warrior god named Dakuwaka that is half man, half shark, and is believed to protect fishermen from the evil creatures living within the sea.
Interesting.
And then in Greek mythology, we have representations of sharks as children-eating creatures.
My thing about, like, all this stuff that happened back then, and even 1916, like, there wasn't a lot of understanding about sharks. Whereas, like, we have fucking Shark Week.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like, we have documentaries, like, endless resources and documentaries about what sharks are and what their things are.
I'm glad you brought that up, because we're going to talk about it a lot in this episode, where by 1916, there were people that didn't even know what a shark looked like.
Yeah.
And so I'm glad you brought that up, like, at the top of the episode. We have to understand for this whole episode that there are people that don't even know what a shark looks like.
It's like almost like, not myth, but
no,
like,
it almost is.
Yeah.
A myth. Like, ooh, yeah, it almost is a myth.
Yeah.
There are literally people that have no idea what a shark even looks like.
Yeah.
Thank you for bringing that up.
Of course.
That was great.
Okay.
We can't know the specifics for sure of early human-shark interactions, but there is documentation of a man killed by, quote, the devil in the shape of a giant fish, unquote, as early as 1642 in Riverdale, New York City. This incident is believed to be the first recorded incident of a shark attack here in the States. So there's been a long-standing fear of sharks, but this fear really escalated and really came to the forefront with the 1916 shark attacks. In the years leading up to these attacks, so from like 1910 to 1916, we know of 8 other fatal shark attacks, but not much information is actually known about these incidents. The most recent fatal shark attack to occur prior to the 1916 attacks was in September of 1914, when a 17-year-old swimming in Lake Pontchartrain, Louisiana, was attacked by a shark that he fought off for some 20 minutes before dying.
In a lake? Or is that the name of the town?
That's the lake.
There's a shark in a lake?
Wait.
I'm confused.
You're going to... Part of these 1916s, you're going to be confused.
Okay.
These 1916s, you're going to be confused. But again, these stories weren't well known. And although there is obvious historic evidence that dates back thousands upon thousands of years that reflect a fear of sharks, most people didn't really have much of an awareness of them. Not much research had been conducted into sharks, and it was widely believed that sharks were unintelligent and had no interest in coming close to humans. In fact, Frederick Lucas, the director of the American Museum of Natural History, said in April of 1916 that a shark's jaw was not even powerful enough to go through a human bone. That didn't age well.
No.
And, quote, that there is practically no danger of an attack from a shark along the Jersey coast.
So that was April of 1916 that he said that.
Mm-hmm. So let's just fast forward by literally 3 months.
Oh, Frederick.
3 months. Oh, Frederick. It's July 1st, 1916. It was a lovely day on Long Beach Island, New Jersey. A heat wave had hit the coast, so thousands of people gathered at Beach Haven, which is, I Googled it and may or may not have looked at a couple Airbnbs.
Oh.
It's this super gorgeous resort town that sits right along the beach. So there's a bunch of hotels here that you can stay at. They're all like stunning Victorian homes, and many have like boardwalks that go straight out to the beach. And this is where tragedy would strike. Charles Epting Vansant, a man from Philadelphia in his early 20s, was vacationing at one of the hotels at this resort location with his family for the 4th of July holiday. He jumped into the Atlantic Ocean and swam about 50 yards out to chest-deep waters. You made a face.
No, it's just, I think I understand. Mm-hmm. Sharks were not on people's mind at this time. Mm-hmm. I get it. So, of course, why not swim 50 feet?
Have you never swam out into the ocean?
No.
I have one time.
I have, like, in Hawaii, I went scuba, no, not scuba, snorkeling, like, in a volcano when there were sharks swimming underneath us. They weren't the kind that bite you, apparently. Yes. But, like, the idea of swimming out into the ocean is terrifying.
Yes. So, something to put into context, we're California girls. We go to the beach. I would say for myself, at least once or twice a year.
For sure. Yeah.
We go to the I don't mean to say we go to the beach all the time, but we certainly go to the beach more than people that don't live along the coast.
Yeah.
Even still, going to the beach a couple of times a year, it's like hanging out at the beach.
Yes.
You know what I mean? There have been 2 times that I've gone out into the ocean. One time it was a peer pressure thing. We were in Santa Cruz.
I knew you were going to say that for some reason.
Really?
Yeah.
We were in Santa Cruz and I was with a bunch of my girlfriends. This was when I was in high school. Mm-hmm. And one of my girlfriends, Megan, was like, you won't go out into the ocean. Why not? Everyone goes out in the ocean.
Sharks, bitch.
And I was like, sharks? That's why I'm not going out in the ocean. I went out into the ocean. That was my first time swimming, like actually in the ocean where the waves could go over my head.
Yeah.
In the ocean. And then there was a second time in Fort Bragg that I did a...
that's cold.
I didn't go into the ocean.
Oh, okay.
I wore a wetsuit and we did
kayaking.
Thank you. Yeah. Where we did kayaking like out in the ocean. So it's not. My body is not in the ocean, but we were in the ocean.
Yeah.
So I do want to say that like both of us have definitely a healthy respect and fear of the ocean, but we do go to the ocean. I mean, multiple times a year.
And it's not just sharks either. Like there's something that is absolutely terrifying about the fact that
we under your feet,
not being able to feel under your feet, not being able to see what's underneath you, and scientists not knowing what the is in the ocean, but we know what's in the universe above our heads. Like that's terrifying.
Yes.
Like the ocean is scary.
No, I completely agree with you. And after doing the research of this episode, I was like, cool, I will actually never even dip my toes in the water again. Okay, so anyway, Vansant, he's like swimming in the ocean. He gets to chest deep water. Shortly thereafter, he starts screaming. Others nearby initially ignored him. He had jumped into the water with a dog, and so people thought he was just yelling at the dog.
Okay.
But they very quickly learned that that was not the case and that he was being viciously attacked by a large mass in the water.
Oh, God.
A lifeguard went in after him while at least one of his sisters, because remember, he was on vacation with his family, she stood by and watched in horror as her brother was dragged out of the water.
Or what was left of him, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Witnesses say the shark that attacked him followed him all the way up to the shore. It wasn't until the shark felt like the sand on its belly that it retreated back into the ocean.
Kudos to the lifeguard who swam out to that.
Yeah. You can't pay me enough.
No.
Can't pay me enough for that. Depending upon which source you gather your information from, some say he lost one leg entirely, while most say that the leg was still attached but was entirely mangled and stripped of its flesh. Either way, Van Sant was brought into the hotel where his family was staying, and he was placed on the hotel manager's desk where he bled to death. He was dead by 6:45 that evening. The New York Times published an article about it at the time. I'll have you check it out here, Leah. I haven't given you any context for this article or for this picture, and I want to get your raw reaction.
Okay. Oh.
I mean,
there's a lot of words. Wait, I'm confused. What am I supposed to be seeing?
this is actually exactly my point. This is exactly my point.
Okay.
You can't really tell what you're looking at, correct?
No, there's so much text on this one page.
It's that highlighted bit.
Okay.
But this is my point. This is my point.
It was buried underneath a lot of other shit.
This is exactly my point. You can't read it, right?
No.
You can't read it.
No.
Okay, thank you. You played perfectly to the camera.
Great.
That is exactly what I wanted.
Okay.
This article was published on page 18 under the title, Dies After Attack by Fish.
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 A fish.
Mm-hmm. So this incident was kept relatively quiet. Remember, it was the week of the 4th of July holiday. These New Jersey hotels didn't want everyone hearing about what had happened to this young guy while vacationing with his family at the beach, or other visitors might be too fearful to come visit and spend money at the resort.
Uh-huh.
In fact, when the story did leak very minorly, a public official was quoted as saying the shark had come in to bite the dog and snapped at the man in passing.
Who gives a shit what its intentions are?
But also, like, I don't think those are the intentions. But, like, but also, you're right.
Who gives a shit? I don't care if it's trying to snap at the seaweed floating next to me. You know what I mean?
It's still
terrifying.
Unfortunately killed a human being. Again, this is all because they didn't want potential visitors to be fearful of this shark. Again, because money.
Yeah.
About 45 miles north of Beach Haven is another little resort town called Spring Lake.
Mm.
On July 6th, so only a handful of days after the first attack, a 27-year-old bellhop named Charles Bruder, working at one of the hotels at this resort, swam about 130 yards from shore. Not long afterward, a shark attacked Bruder, biting at his stomach and his legs. Witnesses say that they saw his body fly up into the air as the shark tore him apart. There were lifeguards watching the ocean that thought they were seeing a red canoe that had capsized because all of a sudden they spotted just this large patch of red in the water, which we now obviously know was Bruder's blood.
Yeah.
When they realized what was happening, the lifeguards went out to rescue him. When they pulled Bruder up onto their boat, many of them later reported Bruder weighing way less than what they had anticipated. They learned right away that this was because both of his legs had been completely torn off. He died shortly thereafter.
Yeah.
This incident had several more witnesses, and the sight of it was so much more brutal that it was impossible to keep this one under wraps. Word spread quickly about the attack, and the incident would make it onto the front page of the New York Times.
Mm.
Hey, this is Brandon from Peculiar Picture Show, the podcast that talks about movies, maladies, and mental health.
And this is Maria, also from that podcast.
So we were wondering, do you like movies? Do you like mental health?
Oh boy, do I ever, Brandon.
Well, then I've got a podcast for you. Peculiar Picture Show is the podcast for you because it is about movies and mental health.
That's right. We use movies to talk about mental health issues like borderline personality disorder, social issues like systemic racism, and other things.
Like how bad Shakespeare in Love was.
Yeah, sometimes we just talk about how bad the movie is.
And we really talked about that one. But sometimes we have games. Maria used to be a teacher, and so she loves to quiz people.
I really do.
So check us out online at peculiarpicture.show. That's our website, and you can stream all episodes there.
Or you can find us on any major podcast channel.
Not too long afterward, on July 12th, 30 miles north of Spring Lake, tragedy would strike again. This case was pretty different from the others. It occurred in Matawan at the Matawan Creek, which was much smaller and muddier and inland and had not been known to contain sharks. This creek is no more than 40 feet wide, and it's still known to this day to be a really quiet, peaceful place. So I want you to check out a picture of it here, Leah.
I would never, ever. I mean, I'd still be terrified to go in there, but I would never think there was a shark in there.
No. I mean, it just doesn't look like what... it doesn't look like the habitat of a shark, right?
No. I mean, no.
It's like a little small inland creek.
Yeah.
On this particular day, though, a number of boys from the town were playing in the water when they spotted the dorsal fin of a shark. Before they could get away, the shark attacked 11-year-old Lester Stillwell. The surviving boys ran for help. One of the people that returned to rescue Stillwell was a 24-year-old man named Watson Stanley Fisher. While he was attempting to bring Stillwell to shore with a huge crowd standing around watching, the shark attacked him as well, damaging his legs so badly that he would later bleed to death at a nearby hospital that same evening. Finally, on the same day, about 30 minutes later, a 14-year-old named Joseph Dunn, who was swimming just 400 feet up creek from where the Matawan incident had occurred, was also bit on the lake by a shark. He would fortunately live and recover, although he would not be released from the hospital due to the severity of his injuries for 2 months. So naturally, after all of this, people began to officially freak out.
Yeah.
I mean, just compare a few of those headlines that were going out in the newspapers now versus that first one that was published on page 18 of the New York Times that said it had been attacked by fish.
I can't.
Yeah, we have a couple of pictures here just of like kind of the headlines of what now the newspapers were saying.
Huge shark of the man-eating species caught at Belfort, New Jersey.
Like even just that is like very different from like on page 18 there was attacked by a fish. Man-eating shark on page 1.
Yeah. I like how it's a species of man-eating shark.
Yes,
because those exist. And then the other one is shark kills spring lake bather. Young man swimming beyond lifelines has both legs bitten off, dies on beach.
I mean, they're not wrong.
No.
But these are definitely more like headline grabbing than attacked by fish.
Yeah.
It's estimated that tourism in New Jersey declined by $250,000, just shy of $6 million in today's money, and was down by close to 75%. Many of these resorts put up safety nets around the shore to keep tourists from going into the water. Some beaches shut down completely. It became a big enough deal that President Woodrow Wilson got involved. As a former New Jersey governor, he ensured they had received all the aid they needed. He called in the Coast Guard and allotted federal aid to the cause of removing from these high-traffic areas what he called the ferocious man-eating sharks.
Okay. Well, okay, I have a couple thoughts.
Yeah, no, share.
Number one, just don't go in the water.
I mean, there's that.
I
guess we have to put ourselves more than 100 years back. For us, when we go to the beach, the point of going to the beach is sitting on the ocean,
maybe
the
putting
sand, dipping our toes in and drinking on the beach.
Yeah.
And I guess 100 years ago, the point of going to the beach was having the opportunity to swim in the ocean.
We also live on the Pacific,
which is different. Yes.
It's cold.
Yes, it's so cold. It's so cold you wouldn't want to swim in it. But I do think that we have to put ourselves like now our perception of like going to the beach is going to the beach.
The literal
the
beach.
Sand.
Yeah.
The beach. Yeah. Hanging out on the sand with way too much booze and
a book
and dipping our toes in the water every now and then.
Yeah. Taking cute pictures.
There are pictures from the early 1900s of just literal hundreds upon hundreds of people in the
water.
ocean.
That's weird.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Weird.
People were so terrified that there's even this story of this poor woman that got a cramp while she was swimming at a Jersey Shore beach. She ended up drowning because when people heard her screaming for help, they didn't want to come anywhere near her because they thought she was being attacked by a shark.
I mean, I can relate to that. I wouldn't go.
Oh, I thought you were saying you could relate to having a cramp in the middle of the water.
No.
But no, totally. Like,
that's why I was saying, like, kudos to that lifeguard that swam out.
to all of these people that rescued the people that had been bit by the shark. Like,
yeah.
I respect that a lot.
Yeah.
In response to the wave of shark attacks, people began loading up their ships with guns, axes, and dynamites and took to the sea to destroy these sharks. In fact, at the direction of the mayor, the Matawan Journal printed wanted posters that offered a $100 reward, which is the equivalent of more than $2,400 in today's money, to anyone that could kill the shark that had killed the 11-year-old boy and the 24-year-old man that had gone in after to rescue him. We have another picture here for you to look at, Leah, because I just couldn't pass up the opportunity to include this particular picture in this episode.
Yeah.
I mean...
Yeah. So it's just women holding a shotgun, aiming at the water.
And I need you to zoom in on the woman's face that is holding the gun.
She looks crazed.
She looks crazed. She looks crazed.
She's smiling slightly, and her eyes are very wide. Wider than I want anyone holding a shotgun's eyes to be.
A little manic, right?
Yeah.
Now, although no sharks were ever captured or killed within the Matawan Creek, these shark hunts led to the capture and killing of hundreds of sharks along the East Coast. This period of time is referred to as the largest scale animal hunt in history. Okay, so what happened here? What happened to cause so many shark attacks in such a short amount of time?
I don't know. You'll teach me, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
I've heard of things like this where it's like one or two sharks, like there's something about their surroundings or something. They're like it's mating season or something, and that's what makes them act unusual. Thumbs up.
I gave her a thumbs up. A silent
That's my
thumbs up.
guess. Let's see if I'm right.
Okay. So initially, the belief was that a singular shark had been responsible for all 4 of the deaths during those 2 fatal weeks in July of 1916. While most modern scientists do not believe this to be the case, most agree that this is possible. The distance from where the first shark attack occurred in Beach Haven and where the last incident occurred, like up there by Matawan Creek, is only like an 80-something mile distance, and sharks, on average, swim like 50 miles a day.
Did you know that they can't stop? They always have to be moving forward. Sharks,
even when they're sleeping.
They don't sleep.
I mean, I don't sleep. Wow.
I think they go into like a rest state, but no, they're always moving forward.
Keep moving forward.
Keep moving forward. Hashtag
motivational quote.
Sharks.
Hashtag inspiration. Hashtag shark attack. Ooh, interesting.
Yeah.
So it is entirely possible that it was the same shark that had swam the distance of 80 plus miles over the course of 2 weeks.
For sure.
What leads even more credence to this theory was that on July 14th, as part of this wild animal hunt, a 7.5-foot, 325-pound great white shark was caught in the Raritan Bay, which is only a couple miles from the Matawan Creek. When the shark was killed and cut open, they found inside its stomach what was believed to be a human shin bone, along with some 15 pounds of human flesh.
Okay, gross. Also, that's a big shark.
Yes.
Woo.
Yes.
Great whites are the scariest.
They are. And we kind of dive into that a little bit further. Interestingly, following the capture of this shark, there was not a single shark attack along the Jersey Shore for the rest of the summer of 1916.
That's because they're not normal. They're not common.
Yes. But I think at this time, the assumption was we've captured the singular shark.
Oh, okay.
He was the only one behind this attack. And would you look at that? There have been no more attacks since we killed him.
How many attacks were there prior to that?
Sure. They would end up putting the shark on display and charging people to come see it. And again, like we shared at the beginning of the episode, keep in mind that for many people, this was the first time they learned what a shark even looked like. Not this was the first time they saw a shark. This is the first time they learned what one looked like.
Which is so flippin' weird as like
it's a vague and foreign concept for us.
Yeah.
Totally.
Like, we go to the Monterey Bay Aquarium, we watch documentary. I mean, you know,
exactly.
Shark Week, man.
Ooh, ah, ah.
Ooh, ah, ooh, ha, ha. Yeah.
Ooh, ah, ah. It really is so important to note how incredibly limited knowledge of sharks was in the early 1900s, even by marine biologists. What really drove marine studies in these days was money, right?
Yeah.
And what knowledge benefited the general public. So, for example, scientists knew a lot about salmon. They knew a lot about tuna. They knew a lot about cod. Because these are fish that contribute to our everyday economy. Not sharks, though. It honestly would not be until the 1990s when scientists would receive the proper funding to really study sharks.
And then our childhoods began.
And now here we are.
Yeah.
And just our knowledge and understanding of sharks is, I guess for us, for like when we were born, seems like we've always known about sharks.
That's because we were born right when it sounds like scientists were given the funding to actually study
Exactly.
it.
In fact, at the time of the attacks, there were many people that did not believe it had been a shark at all that was responsible. Many people believed the attacks had been caused by sea turtles.
That's more realistic for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. So not believing the sharks could possibly be in their waters and having seen very large sea turtles before, it seemed like a simple and safer explanation. Another great conspiracy theory to come from this incident was the belief that the shark infestation had actually been a result of German U-boats. Remember the time frame here. We're talking 1916. The world is smack dab in the middle of World War I. It was theorized that sharks had eaten the bodies of humans in the waters of the German war zone and had then followed the German U-boats through the eastern Atlantic. As one person wrote, this would account for their boldness and their craving for human flesh. As we know, anti-German sentiment was at an all-time high, so this conspiracy theory spread like wildfire. Putting these conspiracy theories aside and going with the common sense narrative that this was indeed a shark, there still is the question of what made this particular shark move in so close to the shore. Scientists have speculated about a temporary change in the Gulf Stream, which might have brought sharks closer to the shore. There were sailors reporting at this time having seen more sharks in areas than they had ever seen them before.
Okay.
Another thing to keep in mind here is, like I mentioned earlier, New Jersey had been hit with an unprecedented heat wave during the summer of 1916. More people flocked to the beach than ever before. So could it just be as simple as the fact that there were more targets?
I wouldn't be surprised if it's multiple of these things.
Yeah, sure. If it can certainly be more than one factor.
Yeah.
Many people have theorized that this one shark may have been injured or had like some kind of deformity or was disoriented, and that is what caused it to go rogue. This is a theory that really sensationalized the events, that there was one lone shark that had a taste for human blood. Like I mentioned earlier, most scientists disagree with this theory. Marine biologist Richard Ellis is quoted as saying, "To try to make the facts as we know them conform to the rogue shark theory is stretching sensationalism and credibility beyond reasonable limits." The truth is, we will never know if it was a lone shark or multiple sharks responsible for the 1916 attacks. Consider all the factors. This happened more than 100 years ago. The documentation of these events is all over the place, from, at the very beginning when it was being super suppressed, and then later on when it's being like overly sensationalized.
Yeah.
And just the human understanding of sharks was nowhere near then what it is now. One of the major mysteries of this event was what kind of shark or sharks were involved. It was widely reported that it was a great white shark that had attacked the New Jersey shore that fateful summer. After all, the shark that was caught and killed in Raritan Bay that supposedly had the human remains in its stomach and then was later put on display was a great white shark. But many argued that the shark had to be a bull shark. Bull sharks are known to swim from the ocean into freshwater areas, such as the Matawan Creek, which is something that great whites do not do.
No, that would be crazy.
Yeah, I mean, they can't survive in freshwater.
Yeah.
So, although bull sharks are not common to the New Jersey area, it certainly seems more likely that at least the Matawan Creek incidents were due to a bull shark, and the injuries sustained by Dunn, the final and only surviving victim, were more consistent with that of a bull shark.
Okay.
All right, so how rare are shark attacks? They're super, super rare.
Yeah.
Statistically speaking, the chances of being attacked by a shark are 1 in 11.5 million, and the chances of being killed by one is less than 1 in 264.1 million. In the United States, there is an average of 16 shark attacks per year, with 1 fatality approximately every 2 years. Australia has the highest number of fatal shark attacks in the world, with 17 fatal shark attacks along their shores in the last 20 years. New Smyrna Beach, Florida, is the location of the most reported shark bites in the world, making the county known as the world's shark bite capital. In just 2019, there were 3 shark bite incidents at this beach within 24 hours of each other. Do you not remember that?
It sounds vaguely familiar.
I remember following it in the news. And I mean, I'm playing right into exactly what happened in 1916, like the panic. I remember being like, oh my God, sharks are taking over. I remember just freaking out like, oh my God, another series of shark attacks and I can never go to the beach again.
It's Florida.
It's Florida. Gavin Naylor, the director of the Florida Program for Shark Research at the Florida Museum of Natural History, is quoted as saying of that particular beach, if you like to surf and you surf in this particular spot, the chances are high that you have been within 10 feet of a shark.
No, thank you. No, thanks. Thanks.
That's crazy.
Yeah. That just must be like, I think the reason it's
Part
so
of the
common.
appeal?
No. The reason it's so common is that must be a like breeding ground for sharks or something. You know what I mean?
I guess I'm like, it's Florida. Are there not other beaches you could go to?
Yeah.
Or is that part of the appeal that like, I might get bit by a shark today?
Maybe they're really good waves. Surfers are crazy. They chase those tubes.
I'm like, oh my God, within 10 feet of a shark. No thanks.
No, thank you.
So you can just add that to my list of reasons I will not be visiting Florida.
No.
In 2016, the International Shark Attack File conducted this super intense investigation into shark attacks and found that of the 96 shark attacks they were investigating, 62 of them were unprovoked attacks. Sharks are scary.
Yeah.
But of the nearly 400 different species of sharks, only a small handful are actually dangerous. Regardless, take this stuff seriously. A few pointers that I learned while doing this research to avoid a shark attack are swimming with a friend and staying close to the shore, not swimming at dawn or dusk, both because this is when it's dark and you can't really see, and because sharks are out to eat breakfast and dinner at these times.
Yeah.
Don't swim around schools of fish, which I'm not really sure why you'd want to do that
slimy,
anyway.
like,
that sounds awful.
Yeah.
And also don't wear shiny jewelry in the water. As for New Jersey, the community has largely attempted to forget
I'm
about
sorry, I just have to interrupt. Like, I think it's so like, for me, it's just unfathomable. I will never be fully submerged in the ocean. At least not like off the beat. You know what I mean?
Yes. And I felt it important because in all of the research that I did, nearly every single piece of research that I read had this little like, here's some pointers. So I felt like I should include pointers
I'm glad you did.
about avoiding shark attacks. But I 100% agree with you that like, I don't need them.
The only time
I don't need these pointers because I will never do any of these things.
I will say I have never mind, gone fully submerged in like Hawaii. No,
I've never been.
I mean, it's so warm that you would do it.
Okay.
You would do it.
I mean, it's not Florida.
No. I think Hawaii only has like mostly the nice shark.
Yes.
The ones that even if they bite, they're like...
It's not fatal.
Yeah, like it's...
And that's another thing, actually, that we should address that I didn't necessarily put in my notes is the whole concept of like a shark bite. It's unfortunate that for many people it can be fatal when the intent of the shark was not to kill most of the time. Like that is actually how... Think of like... This is one of the examples of... one of the articles that I read used the example of like a baby. They put everything in their mouth, right?
Yeah.
A shark is similar. Like we see those... that footage of like a shark like biting at a cage or something like that. Like that is kind of one of their major senses.
Yeah.
Right? And so... They see a figure in the water and they bite at it, not necessarily to kill it or to injure it, but just kind of like testing it out.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, because their teeth are so effing sharp.
You'd think they'd learn.
I know. These damn sharks won't learn. But I'm glad that we ended up coming on to this topic because, you know, this whole concept of like sharks being, you know,
out to get you
is not necessarily true. They're just like inquisitive like anyone else would be. They don't have hands to like reach out and touch things. They use their mouths to observe.
My thing is like, just like pretty much every wild animal, they're scary and you should probably be, you know, you should be cautious of them. But there's no like evil. There's no like, it's not like, I'm gonna come get ya.
Yeah.
Like
it's not like, and it's not that they have a taste for human blood or something like that.
Yeah. In fact, quite the opposite. I've heard that like they actually recoil or whatever when they taste.
No, I read that a lot of my research that like they use their mouths to observe and then they're like, ew, that's gross. She tastes like Jack in the Box French fries. Which I mean, that sounds delicious to me, but not to them.
Yeah.
As for New Jersey, the community has largely attempted to forget about the tragic incidents of 1916. There are very few markers or monuments to memorialize the tragedy. In 2006, they did hold a Shark Fest event where they went to the grave sites of Stilwell and Fisher before continuing on to a festival with face paintings and exhibits and inflatables.
So they turned it into like a marketing ploy.
Yeah. But after 2 years, this event fizzled out. Nowadays, the primary legacy we have from this incident is, of course, the movie Jaws. Or is it? It has been widely speculated that the writer of Jaws, Peter Benchley, was inspired by the 1916 incidents, right? And in the movie that was made by Steven Spielberg the following year, there actually is a scene where one character is telling the mayor to shut down the beaches because, here's the quote, he's going to continue to feed here as long as there is food in the water, and there's no limit to what he's going to do. I mean, we've already had 3 incidents, 2 people killed inside of a week, and it's going to happen again. It happened before. The Jersey Beach, 1916, 5 people chewed up on the surf. Despite this, Benchley has denied being inspired by the 1916 shark attacks when writing Jaws.
I mean, he can't say he wasn't, because obviously it was like...
We know that he did
We
know that he did research into them in order to put his book together.
Yeah. I'm just saying, like, obviously the 1916 shark attacks, like, changed the culture and the perception of sharks in a way that then maybe, trickled, snowballed down into him writing his book.
Absolutely.
So
even as distant as it may be, there is some inspiration there.
For sure.
All I know is I will officially... never swim in the ocean ever again.
Never say never. No, actually, no.
Actually, never. Thank you all so much for listening to this episode of Hashtag History.
We will, as always, be sharing the pictures that we discussed on this episode, and there were quite a few.
There were a lot in this one.
We'll be sharing those to Instagram, and all sources used to put together this episode can be found on our website. You can find us at hashtaghistory-pod.com.
Subscribe to us on whatever podcast platform you use, share about us with your family and your friends, and then give us a rate and review.
And then circling back to Instagram, be sure to check us out on there. We do some really cool stuff.
Yes.
You can find us at #history_podcast.
And then we would love it so much if you would come over and join us on Patreon, where for $1 a month, you can help support our books and booze supply. There's also all kinds of perks like behind the scenes content, some bonus episodes, and then we also mail you cards and stickers.
We sure do.
We sure do.
I should say you do.
You almost did. I almost needed your stamps. That would have been a
They're right there if you need them.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.
Episode 65. I'm Rachel. What?
No, it's good.
Were you not recording? Did I mess something up?
No, you're perfect.
Also, the only thing that's going to bother me is if you eat the cold chili. So make sure you eat while it's still warm.
It's still warm.
Okay. I'd say
it was really hot.
If you start to eat cold chili, that actually is really gross to me. With his family, with his, like I said, I feel this drink. Van Sant's injuries change. Oh yeah, they change. While most modern scientists do not believe this to be the case, most also I'm having a hard time.
You're really struggling.
350-pound great white shark.
325.
What did I say?
350.
How did that even come out of my mouth?